Making the headlines during the past week, St. Martin School student Danelle Ferreira named top performer following release of Grade 6 National Assessment results. 57 received keys to new homes under a housing recovery project. Police officer arrested for attempted murder while police opened investigations into 2 murders which occurred last week. I'm Jaya Pendeng. The details of the news in review when we return.
DBS Radio now brings to you professional and quality live streaming services for all your funerals, special occasions, and events. Contact us today at 448-3282 or 448-3283 or email us at dbsradio@cwdom.dm. DBS Radio, your new era in broadcasting. Contact us today.
Welcome back. Danelle Ferreira of the St. Martin Primary School was named top performer of the 2022 Grade 6 National Assessment. Education Minister Octavia Alfred released the results of the 2022 exams last Monday.
Danelle Ferreira, St. Martin's Primary. Jonathan Theophile, St. Mary's Primary. Michaela Hosford, St. Martin's Primary. Giovanni Hill, Berean Christian Academy. Sienna Andrew, St. Martin's Primary. Naima Sorando, Goodwill Primary. Corel Esprit, Pebush Primary. Kai K, Christian Union Primary School. Emmanuel Drago, Convent Preparatory. And Osamari Hunter, Pioneer Prep.
Danelle Ferreira told DBS she is elated over success.
I am very excited today because I am the island scholar.
Right. Can you tell us certain things that you had to do to reach this milestone today?
I had to make sure I always did my work and that I studied.
Is there anything you want to say to the other students in Dominica, all the students in Dominica? Is there just one thing you want to say to all of them?
Make sure you study hard and you do your.
Meantime, Jonathan Theophile from the St. Mary's Primary School, who placed second, expressed jubilation for being among the top students.
I feel a sense of jubilation as I've come out on top with all the other students that did their best. I feel relatively happy, excited that I was able to financially help my mom with my future endeavors in secondary school with a high scholarship. Well, I've studied mainly on notes my mom compiled and with my teacher, and my afternoon classes teacher would assist me in my composition skills. And my class teachers would assist me in classwork that can give me a broader knowledge of common entrance tips, subjects, and main points that I may need to know.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chandler Hyacinth, revealed the top performers from each district in this year's Grade 6 National Assessment.
In the Eastern District, coming from the Jones Beaupierre Primary School, Sari Bruni. In the Northern District, coming from the Pebush Primary School, Corel Esprit. In the Southern District, coming from the Tetmon Primary School, Coyote Samuel. And in the Western District, from the St. Martin Primary School, Danelle Ferreira.
Government awarded 78 scholarships and 93 bursaries to outstanding students of this year's Grade 6 National Assessment. Miss Shauna Lee Gordon is 2022 valedictorian of the Dominica State College. Miss Gordon was among 400 students who graduated from the DSC last Thursday at the institution's 20th commencement ceremony. The valedictorian, who was a triple major, graduated with first-class honors and copped program awards in business administration and mathematics. In her address, she urged graduates to be unafraid of circumstance and change.
I'll remind you that while your plan may not be perfect, God's plan is. And as Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Also, remember that you are more than capable of being marvels wherever you go. I asked you earlier, how do you feel? I want you to process those emotions and use them as a tool moving forward. The pride and joy that you feel, use it as an instrument to soar to higher heights. The anxiety, reshape it into hope for a brighter future. Class of 2022, I wish you an abundance of success. I also wish you happiness, love, peace, and God's richest blessings.
Meantime, in his final address as president of the Dominica State College, Dr. Donald Peters urged graduates to use their education for national development.
Let us follow a different path than those before us. Do not follow where the usual path may lead. Go instead where there are no paths and leave a trail. Be bold. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. That's not my words. Follow your heart and do what truly excites you. If you want to be a poet, a dancer, with a degree, do it like Nike. I know every Dominican wants to be a lawyer or doctor, and that's okay. But there are at least 1,083 more professions globally. Dominica has no supply chain management professionals, no water resource engineers, no hospital administrators, maybe 2 physical therapists, no athletic trainers, no we need child psychologists, phlebotomists, landscape designers, plant science technologists, private investigators, alternative energy engineers. There are so many opportunities to make a decent living in Dominica and the Caribbean. Seize those opportunities. Think outside the proverbial box. I should probably take this moment to let the country know that Dominica State College is graduating the first students with a degree in social work. I am positive that all 5 graduates will be employed by September. Think outside the box.
Dr. Peters also said he had no regrets looking back on his 11-year tenure at the DSC. It was revealed last week that Budget Day is July 26. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit will present the 2022-2023 national budget at the first meeting of the 3rd session of the 10th Parliament. Prime Minister Skerrit said that this year's budget will be important as Dominica, like other economies, has been affected by COVID-19 and other factors such as the war in Ukraine. He said, however, Dominicans will be happy with the measures to be introduced to deal with the external shocks. President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, will deliver an address to Parliament on that day. The government launched the Future Housing Program at the forecourt of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium on Saturday. A number of young people within the public and private sector were invited to participate in the launch.
The Future Housing Program will see the construction of homes for sale to young professionals and young Dominicans who are employed within the public and private sectors and are looking to invest in their own home. The tagline for this program reads, "Empowerment through ownership, a path to generational wealth." These words were chosen very deliberately to convey the exact objective of this program, which is to hand members of our working class the means to invest in their own properties. This can then be used as security to build greater wealth, which can be transferred to their children and grandchildren. In Dominica, we do not have a deep-seated culture that takes this into consideration. But with proper generational wealth planning and management, wealth can be passed down for many generations within families. This is important because we all want to give our children a significant financial advantage early on in their life, so that they have a better chance at successful and progressive futures. There are several attendant benefits to the Future Housing Program. Home ownership is much more than putting a roof over your head. Purchasing a home is a foundational step for building generational wealth and one of the most consistent ways to build a financial bedrock for future generations. It is a stable investment that will appreciate in time and give you the confidence to expand your finances, invest more, and generally live comfortable lives.
57 citizens are new homeowners under the Housing Recovery Project, or HRP. They received the keys to their new homes last Thursday during a handover ceremony. The homes were built across the island at the cost of over $6 million with funding from the World Bank. Housing Minister Reginald Austrie said over 400 homes are to be constructed under the HRP and are slated to be completed by 2023.
Now, these 57 homes that we are handing over today, remember we had already handed 12 in December, is being done at a cost of $6,971 and some 76 cents or thereabout. An average of around $122,000 per unit. The works were completed by 23 contractors and a total of 483 Dominicans received employment under that particular program. Our responsibility to all these 420 beneficiaries is to ensure that we complete all these homes by 2023. And with the limited number of contractors, as I just said, and the increasing cost of construction material, and the slow pace of the approval for the designs, we're really hoping that we don't have to go into overtime.
The government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, signed a contract with local consultancy firm Pendek for the audit and design of the Waitikobuli National Trail. The restoration of the National Trail is a key component of the Emergency Agricultural and Climate Resilience Project and funded by the World Bank. The work shall include a replacement of trailbed, drainage system, signage and trail markings, infrastructure and amenities, communication system, and capabilities for search and rescue. Dominica has been ranked by Travel and Leisure as the best place to travel for 2022. Tourism Minister Denise Charles made the announcement last week.
Readers were invited to participate through various media and ranked their choices based on a number of characteristics. So, we are elated by this recognition from such a major international publication like Travel and Leisure, as it means readers who are active travelers agree that Dominica is the best island to travel to and experience in 2022. It also means that our hard work and dedication over the years are paying off.
The National Emergency Planning Organization, or NEPO, developed a new framework to provide accountability of the individuals at hurricane shelters across the island. Chair of the NEPO Shelter Subcommittee, Glenroy Tousse, said a registration form will be filled by each family member who will be housed at the shelters. Tousse is calling for the cooperation of the public in that regard.
And that is important because we need to identify who's at the shelter for purposes afterwards, right? So that shelter registration form will have some information whether you are vaccinated or not. It's not necessarily to say whether you're vaccinated or not that you will not be taken to the shelter. It's just basically for us to know your status. So whether you're vaccinated and not vaccinated, or whether you've gotten your first dose, or that sort of thing. So it's basically just for information so that we understand. So some questions will be asked. We may ask about some of your health concerns and things of that nature. So we are encouraging the general public to cooperate with us because it's important that we collect that data for informed decision making.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chandler Hyacinth, said the ministry is concerned over sexual child abuse of Dominican children. She added that the Ministry of Education has been proactive in dealing with the matter.
And once the cases come to our light, we always work with the necessary organization to deal with those issues. So we work closely with the Social Welfare Department and their officers. We have our counselors who are stretched all over the island to provide support, not just to the students, not just to the students who may be the victims, but also with the parents as well, and other students at school. And we have programs in place for dealing and providing the necessary support to our students. And we want to place on record our thanks to persons like Miss Joanne Carrett and Miss Adela David. And in our secondary schools now, every secondary school there is a counselor or two, where we can find additional persons. We have 2 persons providing counselor services. The challenge is sometimes when you have to work with the parents to get them to work with you, and the number of cases that we have to deal with, it's always a lot and challenging as we work with the welfare department. But certainly we are concerned and we are taking steps.
Mrs. Hyacinth also called on parents to cooperate with the authorities to address incidents of child abuse. In police news, a 31-year-old man of Elms Hall residing at Tarishpit was shot dead last week.
Alston de Claudius Lawrence was shot at the house where he resided at Tarishpit by an unidentified assailant. He received multiple gunshot wounds. He was transported to the emergency department of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, where he was examined and pronounced dead by a medical doctor at 11 p.m. that same night. The body is being kept at a funeral home awaiting an autopsy. Investigations continue into this matter. Anyone having information in relation to the death of Alston Lawrence is asked to contact the police.
Police also opened investigations into the shooting death of 34-year-old Alan Packett of Maho.
On Tuesday, 12 July 2022, about 10:15 p.m., Alan Packett was walking in a southerly direction along the western sidewalk of the E.O. Leblanc Highway at Woodbridge Bay in the vicinity of Marboyd's restaurant and bar when he was shot multiple times by unidentified assailants. Allen was found unresponsive on the ground in an alley on the northern side of Marboyd's restaurant and bar. He was transported to the emergency department of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital, where he was examined and pronounced dead by a medical doctor at 10:55 p.m. His body is being kept at a funeral home awaiting a post-mortem. Investigations into the shooting death of Alan Packett continues and solicits the assistance of the general public in bringing those responsible for his death to justice.
Police officer Ransom Frederick of the Kalinago territory was charged with attempted murder. Freelance reporter Carly John Baptist has more.
In fact, Norris stated there are pending matters of threats on his life and some of the persons are at the prison. He told the court that this touches on public interest and presently there are various police officers on bail. He was then told by the magistrate that people must be able to walk the streets of Dominica and go out and feel safe. To this, he responded by saying that this situation is different from other gun-related matters and the firearm used was not an unlicensed one but was a government-issued firearm. He is a trained officer in relation to firearm. He did not flee the crime scene after the incident. He remained there and immediately surrendered the firearm. So this matter should not be connected like the others as gun violence or revenge and the outcry of unlicensed firearm and ammunition, Norris stated. In response, State Attorney attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Dana Matthew, told the court that the office appreciates the posture of the court and that this offense of attempted murder should be interpreted just as seriously under the Bail Act as the offense of murder. On the issue of the public's interest, she stated that as noted by Defense Counsel Norde, that the gun used was not unlicensed. It was used by an officer of the court who is supposed to protect the public from harm and not cause harm. She stated that, nonetheless, the prosecution appreciates that this accused is a police officer and his safety at the prison will very well be compromised, especially considering where he has been attached. Magistrate Michael Loda then stated that every bail application that comes before him, whether you are a police officer or not, he deals with it or recruits himself. He reminded the officer that he was charged with a serious offense and his bail under the Bail Act was discretionary. This court has taken a dim view of the wanton use of firearms to commit crimes, licensed or unlicensed in the state, he said. In considering bail, he stated that the court must, among other things, look at the nature and seriousness of the offense, the character of the individual, and the penalty attached, and from all indications, he is a first-time offender. He then ruled that it was the court's view that it was not in the public's interest to deny him bail and to remand him at the Stock Farm prison where his life is going to be at risk. The order of the court is that bail is set at $50,000 with Elisha Laura as surety. The accused is not to interfere with any witnesses, must surrender all his travel documents to the court, must report to the jurisdiction of the court on October 20, 2022, live an honest and industrious life while on bail, and must not change his address without the express permission of the court. Khalil John Baptist from the Magistrate Court in Roseau, reporting for DBS News.
The charge, which was read to Mr. Frederick at the Magistrates Court in Roseau last Thursday. Meantime, Minister for National Security and Home Affairs Reuben Blackmore said the police will exercise a zero-tolerance level for the use of illegal firearms in Dominica.
We are in the month of July and so far have recorded 10 shooting incidents, 8 of which have been fatalities, 7 of which have been deemed as murder. Brothers and sisters, this is a serious threat to our national security, and this threat has to be confronted. The past few months should cause us as a people to pause and take this matter very seriously. The Ministry of National Security and Home Affairs and your government shall continue to provide the police force with the support needed to swiftly respond and to adopt a zero-tolerance level for the use of firearms to commit offenses. I therefore fully support the police in making full use of the Firearms Act of the Commonwealth of Dominica and to use all necessary lawful means when dealing with firearm-related offenses.
We now join Layla Langford for this evening's entertainment segment. Layla spoke with another popular local artist following his performance at the recently held Legends Dance Party.
This evening, we are joined with one of Dominica's legend bouyon artists, Ra. Can you tell us how was your performance and how did you felt being on stage following, a break on the stage?
Well, it felt really, really good, but what felt even better was like having my son and his band backing me up. I mean, there's Ajmal. Of course, he's a producer. Yeah, so much things that he does, you know what I mean? A keyboard player, bass player, drummer as well. So being on stage with him and his group was really epic, it was really something, I dreamt of to wait a few years, to see him grow up and being with him on stage. That to me was like, you really is a treasure, Yeah.
Okay, can your fans say it's a return of Ra? Because we haven't been seeing Ra so often, but right now we have heard like 2 shows that he has performed. So can you tell us, is it a return of Ra?
Well, the thing is, I never really gone anywhere, as you know, I've been with WCK for years and Bouyon Pioneers, but seems like, it's look like deja vu. It looked like it's the same thing is happening over and over. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to work with my son and, work on production because he does a lot of production, as I said before, and just continue working with him and getting the vibes together because he just put his band together. Of course, he had a band before called Danger Band, and right now he has a new band called Inner Core Unit. So we're really working and getting the song, the authentic bouyon song out there with the type of lyrics that is wanting, because you could see the type of stuff that's happening right now with the child molestation and the child abuse and the whole long story. And the amount of murders that's happening in Dominica right now. What we intend to know is to bring back the love and bring back the unity and the progress, and give people songs that inspire them and uplift them. That's the things that we need right now, and it's very wanting, you know, compared to other people that's going that other way, and which like the Pied Piper dragging them to that kind of a thing. They cry about it, but they still draw to it, because there's two forces that rule the earth, as you know, is good, and you know the next one, you know. So what we need to do is to get some more good people. I mean, many are called, a few are chosen, but at the same time, we need to do something positive to uplift people and inspire them, you know. So that's what we're really doing right now.
Okay, as I said, you are a legend for the Buyo music. Can you give me any advice to the young artists that are coming up, the Buyo young artists coming up? Any message that you have for them?
But the message I want to give them is that now they'll have to learn to respect the elders and the ancestors and what they fought for, you know, and please do not deceive them and don't let them down, you know, because they really fought, you know what I mean? People like Jacko, Bala, and all the rest of them, you know, that fought so very hard for liberty, you know, people like Malcolm X, you know, and the list goes on and on. Bob Marley and the rest of the crew, you know, Peter Tosh, you know, Bonnie Wailer, and so many names I cannot even come to mind right now that really stood for the struggle, you know. So my advice to them is to, you know, uplift yourself, you know, listen to some positive vibes, because remember, when we sojourn from this earth, you know, we have youths coming after us, so we want to leave them something positive, you know. We want to teach them something good, you know, something that they can in turn can teach their children and their children and their children, because we have a habit of just about us, but it's not about just us. We have to think about us, the we, you know, I mean not I, you know, but about us, the brother us, you know. That's what we need to do.
Well, that's it for entertainment this week. Be sure to tune in to our Facebook page to see which other artists will be featured for our entertainment segment next week.
And that's how we end this evening's DBS News in Review. On behalf of the entire DBS radio team, I'm Jaya Pende. Good evening.
DBS Radio now brings to you professional and quality live streaming services for all your funerals, special occasions, and events. Contact us today at 448-3282 or 448-3283 or email us at dbsradio@cwdom.dm. DBS Radio, your new era in broadcasting. Contact us today.